Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the weekly podcast of ActionRadius.com. This week we will be looking at one of the PC casings from Aerocool. The Aerocool XPreadator X1 is a mid-tower sized casing for entry-level gamers. Now this casing is available at a very economical cost for the number of features and the design it supports. It only costs around Saudi Riyal 150, which is a very economical price for this type of casing. It is available in pure black, white and then evil black colors of red and orange tones. The casing that we will be reviewing is the orange black evil one, and we will be taking an in-depth look at this casing and telling you how it will justify your entry-level PC.
The Aerocool XPreadator X1 has a pretty simplistic design with just a black grille in front of the casing. The grille is completely open and does allow cool air to be sucked inside and cool down your hard disk installed on the back side. There is dust protection foam inside it so as not to allow dust to go inside. On top we have 3 optical bays to install your CD drives, but you can swap one of these for a floppy drive cover also. When going on the top, you will be able to see 2 USB 3.0 ports. Then there is the mic and headphone port and one analog controller for fan speed. Then there is the power button, but there is no restart button on top. In the different color offset, you will be able to see rubber-like material on the top, which can be used to put your mobile phones, your keys, and if you're like me, then this area will be pretty crowded for you. On the top side, there is no handle to pick up the casing, which is one of the things that I really miss for this casing. But what they have done is added a switch on top which will open the vents on this casing. Now this makes the casing look pretty badass and does make it look like a spider. But the cool thing is that there is grill inside these vents, and all the hot air that is accumulated on the top can flow out through these vents if you open this up. If heating is not one of your problems, then you can close this vent to keep the noise on the low side. Going to the back side, on top you will be able to see 2 grommets for our cooling tubes. So if you are using a liquid cooling solution, then these 2 will come in pretty handy. Then there is the standardized fan that comes with the casing, the input-output port plate for the motherboard input-output ports. Then at the bottom we have the 7 PCI slots for installing VGA cards or other PCI cards that you want to install. The bolting space for the PCI cards is covered by a plastic cap, which you can open easily and then bolt up your PCI cards and then put the cover back on. On the bottom side, there is the space for installing the PSU. Coming to the side of the casing, there are 2 fan locations, and the bolt hole providers does allow both 140 or 120 mm fans to be installed on this side of the grill. But on the hardest side there is no grill hole, so all the heat will get accumulated on the side and you cannot install any fan on this side for near the hardest space. The only air that you will be getting will be from or front side of the grill. Removing the side grill has been made easy by using the hand screws. So there are 2 screws per side of the grill which you can easily unscrew via your hand, and then there is a groove made for like a handle to remove the grill easily from the casing. Let's take a look inside the casing. From inside there are no extra walls inside and the casing does look pretty spacious. Now the location where you install the PSU, you will be able to see that there are 4 rubber pads provided so as to keep the vibration of the PSU to a limit. Then if you look closely, then you will be able to see that there is a dust filter installed directly beneath the grill. The cool thing is that it is a removable dust filter, so you can take it out once it has collected enough dust, and then you will be able to clean this filter separately and then install it back without any problem. Now let's take a look at the front side of the casing from the inside. Now, as we explained before, that there is a foam-like material that will stop the dust from going inside and only allow cool air to come inside. But one of my concerns is that the dust will get accumulated on this foam-like material in time, and there is no way to clean this dust from this grill. There is a pre-installed fan on the front side of the casing also, but this is fully removable, so if you don't want to use it or you want to install one of your custom fans, then you have the full opportunity to remove it and do so. There are no inside walls or panels, which is a great thing, so as to allow open space for air as well as install large PCI cards inside. There are 6 bays available to install your hard drives. You can install both your SSD or your full-size IDE drives in these bays. On top, as previously shown, we have 3 spaces for optical drives to be installed. For the cable connectors, we can see the power cables for the fan controller, then there are the LED cables, pretty standard stuff, but the cool thing is that it does come with a USB 3.0 adapter and you don't have to separately purchase it to use the USB 3.0 port on top of your casing. Now on the top side, we had previously shown you that you can open up the vents, but when you look at from the inside, then you will be able to see that they have provided grill and portholes for fans to be installed. So you can install 2 extra fans on the top side to fan out the hot air. Finally, let's look at the other side of the casing. Now you will be able to notice that there are grommets available for your cables to come out and be on this side of the casing, so as there is less clutter on the main side and better airflow there. Then you can install a micro ATX card as well as a full ATX card on this casing. There is enough space inside the casing to install long PCI Express 3D cards. The longest card that we know of is the HD 7990 Radeon card, which is a 12-inch card. The space inside this casing from edge to edge is around 11 inch. So you will be able to install pretty much every card like this Radeon card, which fits just exactly up to 11 inch, but if you will get Radeon HD 7990, then it will slightly go inside the drive base and block your access to one of the drive base if you are using that card. But as long as you are using any other card like this NVIDIA GTX 760 card, then you will have enough clearance space from the wall of the casing, and you can easily manage your cables in this space theoretically. The accessories that come with this casing includes the main booklet or the manual. This manual will show you the different components that you will get with this casing and the installation methods for different drives or other things. Then we have the 5.25 inch to 2.5 inch floppy drive converter faceplate. Then there are a lot of screws provided with the casing as well as cable ties to keep your cables tidy enough. The last thing you will find in the accessory box are these hard disk installation bays. There are 6 of them for installing your SSD as well as full-size IDE drives. Normally with any SSD, you will find a converter provided by the SSD manufacturer themselves to convert your normal 2.5 inch drive to full size IDE drive bay. But with this bay installation that is provided with this casing, you will have no need of any such converter because the SSD drive fits perfectly on these bays also. One of the another cool things about these bays is that on the back side of these bays there are bolt holes for installation of any standard 120 mm fan. So you can install your fans on the back side of hard disk to provide better airflow, or even without the hard disk you can install these fans to have airflow inside your casing near the hard drives. Now this is the final look of your casing after installing everything. To test out how much clutter it makes, I have installed 6 drives inside so as to have enough cabling inside, and one of the problems, as you can see, is that the power supply directly in front of the hard drives make everything a lot of clutter at that location. On the back side we did find out that there was not enough space to hold all of the cables, and we had to limit to only selected few cables to the back side of the casing, whereas the maximum clutter does remain on the main side of the casing, which does give it slightly bad looks because of the limited space that is available on the back side.
Overall, as we mentioned, that this is a pretty nice casing for those looking for an entry-level PC only. The limited length of this casing will limit you to put too much components inside, even though the casing sports around 6 hard drives. But with the number of cable clutter getting there in front of the PSU, we don't expect that you can fully utilize that much space. So if you are going to use around let's say 2 hard drives, 1 3D card, then you will have good enough space with this economical price. But if you are looking to install a lot of stuff, then due to the limited cabling space on the back side, even though the grommets are there to install the cables on the back side, but due to the limited space on the other side, you will not be using that feature too much anyway. So that was the recap of our casing review for the Aerocool XPreadator X1. Overall, a nice casing for entry-level gamers only. Now coming to the next segment of our weekly podcast, the giveaways. Now for last week we had a Steam copy of Reckless Disregard for Gravity Steam key to give away. The lucky winner is Waqas Khalid. Congratulations, you can contact us to receive your free Steam game. For next week, we have a copy of Dwarfs. This indie Steam game will be available to any of the lucky commenters selected randomly for this week's podcast. All you have to do is just leave a comment telling us what do you think or what do you see in a casing when you are purchasing it. Which one feature is most important to you? Or you can leave a comment on this video review on the Aerocool XPreadator X1. Basically, it can be any comment for this related to PC chassis, and it will be counted for as an entry to this lucky draw. So that's it for this week. Hopefully see you next time, inshallah. Also, take care. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.